race one of the 2022 Prosecco DOC Czech round. A brilliant start from Garrett Gerloff from 6th on the grid. A poor one from Alex Lowe's, who's getting swallowed up. Bautista didn't make a great jump, but he's now recovering ground. Goes to the outside into the first turn. In fact, he's picked off teammate Michael Ruben Rinaldi for 3rd position. Andrea Locatelli fighting his way through and bumping Rinaldi backwards. Several riders went straight on there at turn one. They have to go through the flip-flop, through the slalom, and rejoin in the positions that they originally left the circuit. That's all enabled the top three rather to break away. Locatelli very aggressive once again, and he's now run off. He's going to go through the gravel trap. That's going to mean Axel Bassani with an opportunity. Bassani almost has to go straight up the back of Locatelli, who really impeded him there, rejoining the circuit at a slower speed in the path of Bassani. He'll be furious about that, and the pair of them look to have been picked off. They've got Scott Redding, who has fought his way through from 7th on the grid. Rinaldi dropping back in the early stages. Locatelli tried to get aggressive, but just a little bit too ambitious from the number 55 Yamaha. Bassani now trying to recover, but that's after he was impeded there somewhat by Andrea Locatelli. Good initial getaway from Garrett Gerloff, but he's now relegated back to behind where he started on the grid as Alex Lowe's begins to recover. Disappointing start though for Lowe's. It's a battle of heavy braking now as they reach speeds of up to 290 or so kilometres per hour down the start-finish straight. Break down to 70 into turn one. Big moment there on the 60 kilometre per hour turn two for Jonathan Rea. And Toprak Razgatlioglu has a little bit of breathing room early on lap two. That was the minor contact, but it was contact enough between Razgatlioglu and Rea in the early stages.
Yeah, and you can see here as we ride on board with Rea, just faster in that section between turns 1 and 2.
The gap now 3 seconds to Axel Bassani behind, fending off Scott Redding and Andrea Locatelli. Rea, as close as he's been, goes for a lunge in towards turn 15. In general, riders can't get it stopped through there when they make an overtaking manoeuvre, but Jonathan Rea has done something very different indeed. Haven't seen that all too often in the 3 previous races here in Most. Rea's got it stopped into 15. He's got the race lead on lap 6 of 22. Razgatlioglu now desperate to answer straight back. He does so into turn 20, where he made his famous move on Scott Redding a year ago. Rea now will answer back into turn 21, and watch for Alvaro Bautista closing on the pair, and Toprak had a look over his shoulder just to check where Bautista was, because he knows the speed of that Ducati coming off the final turn to start lap 7. Toprak tries to cut the slipstream, move to the inside. He knows he's going to be late on the brakes. He's going to go barreling down the inside now of Jonathan Rea, who won't necessarily have seen that coming. Rea with the cutback. He's going to try and carry his momentum now off turn 2 and race them down the hill through 3 and 4. Razgatlioglu doing oh so well to fend off Bautista, but also to capitalise on that and make the pass on Jonathan Rea. Razgatlioglu wide again, and he is looking really vulnerable at this stage of the race. Jonathan Rea made the pass on Toprak a lap ago into turn 15. He's done it on lap 6. He's done it again on lap 7. Toprak will be wise to it this time and try and set himself up for a move in towards turn 20, just as he did a lap ago. Lap 8 gets underway, bunching between the top 3 here at the head of the field. Jonathan Rea has track position, but not for much longer. Toprak Razgatlioglu again outbreaking him. Rea this time on the switchback, gets across the path of Razgatlioglu coming off turn 2. Brilliant move from Jonathan Rea as he recovers the lead, and this could be vital.
For Toprak, just make the move on the brakes. We know how strong he is on the brakes. We saw it at Donington Park. Anytime he wanted to make the move, he was able to. But look at Alvaro Bautista, the rocket ship of the Ducati down the outside. But on the braking point, the Kawasaki, the Yamaha, so much stronger.
Almost 3 abreast coming down the start-finish straight at the start of lap 10. It's Jonathan Rea who led. It's Toprak Razgatlioglu who has the advantage now. It's Jonathan Rea who leads. It's Alvaro Bautista now up ahead of Toprak Razgatlioglu. This is going to be an important start to lap 11 now. Toprak desperately needs to get back in front of Bautista. Bautista's going to have so much speed coming off this final turn. He's going to be up and alongside Jonathan Rea at the start of lap 11. Rea should be able to successfully defend. No, he can't. Bautista's gone breezing through, and in the space of half a lap, Alvaro Bautista goes from 3rd to 1st.
Redding right there. You can see more spots of rain in this section of the track as well, and for Redding, this is where he feels confident. This is where he knows he's going to have an opportunity, and he's set up nicely now to be able to attack in the second half of the race.
Lap 13 with Alvaro Bautista leading ahead of Jonathan Rea and Toprak Razgatlioglu, with Scott Redding in fourth. 4 riders from 4 different manufacturers. The top 3 in the championship going at it once again. They're covered by just half a second at the start of lap 14. That's ambitious, to say the least, from Toprak. He manages to get through on Jonathan Rea and bundle him down to third. That could be very important for Razgatlioglu, because he's had Scott Redding snapping away at his heels for the last lap and a half or so. Rea tries to immediately respond, but he's now the rider who's got to fend off Scott Redding. Pace is getting back down again, you'd have to say. Only 7/10 of a second away now from the race lap record set by Toprak Razgatlioglu. Big bold move there from the two of them as Toprak and Rea scrap it out again.
We've seen time and again where Rea and Razgatlioglu get involved in their own battle and let Bautista get it out in front. You can see that for Scott Redding, though. That's where he lost the race to Toprak last year. He was trying to repay the favour.
Scott Redding on Jonathan Rea at the start of lap 16 in towards turn 1. He's been bottled up behind Rea and Razgatlioglu while they were scrapping with one another. Now he's released into P2. Alvaro Bautista has capitalised on the fights behind him to escape away. He's half a second clear, but Redding is now released. He's made 2 passes on the 2 pre-race favourites here in race 1. Underbraking in towards the first turn. 3 attempts at the first turn to come now for Toprak. We ride on board with him as he tries to gain the slipstream down this 792-metre start-finish straight. He has got the advantage, he has got track position, and Jonathan Rea is relegated out of the podium places. Can he answer straight back? That last lap a disaster as far as Rea was concerned, and Razgatlioglu has found his way through. Toprak then into the podium places. This is a fight for some damage limitation behind Bautista and Redding, who haven't really looked like surrendering those top 2 spots.
Toprak's closed right up onto the back, so you'd imagine turns 13, 15 and 20, they're the key chances for Toprak.
Here we go again. A year ago in race 1 in Most, it was into turn 15 that Toprak tried his first move. That rather came unstuck. He ran wide and couldn't get the bike stopped. He's going to go for it again into turn 15 here, and he runs Scott Redding off the road entirely, and Redding shaking his head almost as he rejoins the circuit, and Jonathan Rea, ever the opportunist, says this is a golden opportunity for me, and he now is going to bump Scott Redding out of the way, and he really did come from behind there to make that pass, and Redding's going to get his elbows out. He is perhaps one of the more reluctant to do so, but he's going to have to do it now against Jonathan Rea, and it's certainly Rea who's got a lot more to lose by sending the front wheel in on the tail of Scott Redding. Redding gets that position back then, desperate to claim his second podium with BMW in 2022. Bautista's away and gone, forget about him, the race is behind. Rea versus Redding now for the final step on the podium, the final turn, and Redding should hold on. Alvaro Bautista in mixed conditions on the harder tyre has had every answer possible, and it's Bautista who wins race 1 of the 2022 Prosecco DOC Czech Round.
Autodrom Most fährt einen zweiten Stein ein für das Kassenwerk. 1000